What's going on, everyone? Pro-Verbs back again with another one. And hey, today I just want to talk about the hypocrisy of this country. Oh my God. There is just so much hypocrisy. It's just crazy. So I'm about to get into a little story time of my experience yesterday. Oh my gosh. It was just a crazy day. It was just crazy. But first, let me see what happened first. Oh yeah, yesterday I had to go to a court hearing. It's traffic hearing, right? So, and mind you now, this ticket that I received was like what 2, 3 years ago. What we in 2025? This was back in 2022. So 3 years later, because they just keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. So I got to finally they stuck to that date, which was yesterday. Excuse me. So anyway, the ticket was for it says what is it called? Disobedience of traffic. Hold on, y'all. I want to have the exact term. Just hold on 1 second. Pardon me. Yeah, so it's for disobeying traffic device. So my court date was yesterday, which was May 5th, 2025 at 2:30. So I made sure I got there on time. I got there a little extra early. So anyway, so it says disobeying traffic device. So anyone would think that you probably run a red light or a stop sign or something like that, right? That is my thinking. So anyway, before I move on to the court date, let me just explain the whole situation on how I even got that ticket to begin with. So I'm driving, heading to the city through the Midtown Tunnel. So I'm going by GPS, and I know GPS is not going to always be accurate when it comes to certain streets or whatever the case may be. But I got my eyes out. I'm looking out. I'm not just focused on the GPS. I made sure I'm driving on the right side of the street and all of that. But anyway, I just came through the Midtown Tunnel into Manhattan, right? Then I was gonna make that right to go up on Second Avenue. So before I could even get to Second Avenue to make that right, I was pulled over by one of those traffic officers. So I'm like, hell did I do? What am I getting pulled over for? I ain't breaking no law. So anyway, I'm like, what am I being pulled over for? He said to me, you cannot be driving on this street during these times. I'm like, what? I ain't seen no sign that said that. He tell me that there's a sign that said that. So I'm like, where is it? He didn't even show me. He just asked me for my license. So he took my license. Then he gave me the ticket. But before he gave me the ticket, I said, if I can't drive on this street around this time, what about those other drivers? He telling me it's only buses supposed to be driving on that street around this time, which doesn't even make no sense. But anyway, I was like, what about those other drivers? Guy looked at me and was like, what other drivers? I'm like, the audacity. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, I'm seeing a bunch of other cars driving on the same street as I am. I didn't even see one bus. Not one bus. I'm just seeing cars. I'm like, nah, this guy gotta be kidding me. I feel like, yo, I'm being singled out right now. I wonder why. So anyway, he gave me the ticket and it says disobeying traffic device. So I'm like, this mother, he said I'm not supposed to be driving on this street, but he's giving me a ticket for disobeying traffic device. I'm like, I know I didn't run no red light or anything like that. I ain't run a stop sign. So why is it saying disobeying traffic device? What traffic device? This doesn't make no sense to me. So anyway, moving on to yesterday in the court now. So the guy read his statement. He read his statement to the judge, the so-called judge. And then she asked me, so do you have anything to say to the officer? I'm like, do I have to speak to him or do I speak to you? Like, she said either or. So I'm like, oh, I guess this is a free for all. I guess whatever I could say. But first, she did ask me, oh, do you have a lawyer? I'm like, no, I could defend myself. I know exactly what happened. So she was like, do you swear to tell the truth? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell the truth. So I told my side of the story and exactly how it happened and what the guy said. I even mentioned to her, like, I was like looking at the paper. I'm like, it says disobeying traffic device. What is that? And I didn't see no sign that said I couldn't drive on the street. So she said, oh, that's disobeying traffic device. That's the same thing. So I'm like, okay. Your Honor. Do you know about this sign? She said, no. I said, have you seen this sign? She said, no. So I was like, how would you know that it's there then if you don't know about it, haven't seen it? So she said to me, well, the officer have no reason to lie. Excusez-moi? Well, I ain't really say all of that, but I'm like, so does he have any paper to show that the sign is there? She said, no. So I was like, so how we know it's there? He could have just made. She said he ain't got. Listen, I thought in this country it's supposed to be you are innocent until proven guilty. So you telling me this guy, he didn't had no proof, just the paperwork with some statements stating that what the driver drove around here at this time on this street. So you telling me that's enough proof? That's not even any proof to prove that I'm guilty of breaking any rule or law. Because you yourself don't even know. You're on the seat of being a so-called judge. And this so-called officer or meter maid, whoever he is, traffic cop, he didn't even present no evidence to show that I'm guilty of breaking a rule. I'm telling you, this country is so hypocritical. So that means his word is more valuable than mine. So whatever he say, oh, it's I guess it's Bible, it's the truth, and he'd even presented any kind of evidence to show I broke any rule. It was just a written statement he put. I'm like, God, yo, I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And it's very unfair because it says in the law you are innocent until proven guilty. There was no proof. It was no proof. It was just so can I have a written statement against an officer and say he did this against me and I don't show proof of that he did that? Can I do that? Tell me, can I do that and get justice that way? I'm telling you, this is crazy. It seemed like in that situation I needed a lawyer to defend me because I'm like, that just blew my mind. So he's basically, she said you're guilty and you have to pay the $100 and whatever dollar fee. I'm like, man, y'all bogus. That's bogus. So anyway, the second thing now, and I'm like, yo, this country is done. Like, it's just so hypocritical. And it seemed like some of the laws, it really needs to change because it seemed like it's in a way to oppress certain individuals. That's the best way I can put it. It seemed like it's tailored in a way to oppress certain individuals because certain things doesn't make sense. Because when you really look deep into some of the things when it comes to rules or laws, and you really try to dissect it, a lot of the things it comes up very hypocritical, or it doesn't favor certain groups of people. It really doesn't. And it just blows my mind when I like really rationalize certain things, and when you ask them questions, it like whatever you try, whatever you say to in defense of yourself, it just doesn't matter. It's like, okay, we just stick into what's in this book. We just stick into this, and that is that, with no rationale to it. It just doesn't have no rationale to it. So anyway, moving forward, so I had a meeting yesterday, via, not FaceTime. What is that other thing called again? Damn, I forgot the thing. What is it called again? It's not FaceTime. Um, Zoom. My apologies, Zoom. So I had a meeting via Zoom for a meeting for, this charity place, this Catholic charity place, to help me get citizenship, because I'm not born in America. So anyway, so I came on to the meeting that evening. So, yo, it took a while to even get this meeting. It was just crazy. I sent in my paperwork like probably like 2 months ago, and they called me during business hours, where when I couldn't even answer the phone at the time, or I missed the call, but they would never leave a direct number or an extension number. So I'm like, who am I to reach? It's just like a number where you get voice operated. So I'm like, I'm just leaving voicemail. And I'm like, finally they reached out to me. They got me. So anyway, yeah, so I got on the line with the guy, right? And he started off by saying, um, make sure all these questions I'm gonna ask, make sure you're honest. So I said, okay, I'll be honest. So he goes into the questioning. So, um, one of the questions that let me see, which one should I go with first? Okay, so first let me get into this then. One of the questions he asked me, and I'm gonna get to the other one, but the other one he really asked me in the beginning. But I'm gonna jump that, and then I'm gonna get to that one, which is very hypocritical, and it just blows my mind. It doesn't make no sense whatsoever. So anyway, he proceeded asking questions, and then one of the questions that we got to, he was like, oh, okay, do you have any kids? I said, yeah, I got kids. He said, okay, how many children you have? I told him how many children I have. And then he said, I don't recall he ever asking me if they stayed with me, but we got to that part where I said, no, the children's with their mom. So he said, do you financially support them? I said, yes, I do. So he said, we got to get a letter from the mother. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, I'm not even on child support. You told me to be honest. So whatever. I didn't say all of that, but I said, I'm not even on child support. Whatever me and my children's mother discuss, with them and our children, that's what it is. Like, I buy them stuff. if I don't have the chance to pick up something or whatever, I send them money for my children. Like we have that rapport, so I'm letting them know this. But he said, but we need a letter. So I'm like thinking like, so my word is not good enough. I'm like, I'm like thinking like I'm trying to rationalize like you're interviewing me, you're not interviewing them. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, hold on. I'm like, you tell me to be honest, so I'm being honest with you right now. So okay, I guess my word is not good enough. Okay. So now here's the kicker. So I'm gonna go back to what he asked me to begin with. So this is where the hypocrisy come in. And he wanted me to be honest, right? So I was honest with him. So in the beginning of the interview, he was asking me, okay, he asked me, you know, my birth date and stuff like that. Then he went to asking me, so, what is your race? I'm like, what? I'm like, you could see me. Like, we on Zoom on video, so I'm like, you could see who I am, right? I'm like, no, but what is it? What would you want to classify your race? I'm like, this this nigga smoke. I'm like, yo, I'm like, oh. He's like, he was running down the list like Caucasian, African American. I'm like, I'm like, yo. I'm like, is this nigga serious? I'm like, you can see me. So he's like, no, you got to tell me. I'm like, I said, I guess I'm African American. I guess I'm black, so called black. You know, I'm so called black. I'm like, you can see my skin right here, like right here. You can see me on the video. So what's the video? I ain't say all that, but so anyway, he was like, so what you classify your gender as? I'm like this nigga smoking something. Like he's like, you classify yourself as a male? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yo. So now, basically, you asking me those questions for what? Like, is it a trick question? Like, so basically, you're telling me I can, even though you see me right here on the camera, you can see the skin color, you see the facial features, you can see facial hair. So basically, I can classify myself as whatever. So if I say I'm a white female, you're gonna go with that then. You know what? Maybe I should have said that. Maybe I would have got my citizenship right there and then say, you know what? We're working on your case right now. You're gonna swear in by next week. I'm like, gee willikers, that was quick. Thanks, pal. I'm like, yo, the hypocrisy. First, you asked me to be very honest from the beginning, right? They asked me to be honest. Then you're gonna ask me what is my sex, what's my gender, what's my nationality. I'm like, Negro. And we already got past the part where I'm from Jamaica. We already got past that part already before we get to this part. I'm like, Negro. He's not even a Negro. I think he was a Spanish guy, I think. Latino, something like that, maybe. But I'm like, Negro, after you ask me to be honest, then you're gonna ask me what is my gender, what do I identify myself as, whether it's a black man, white man, male or female. Like at that point, when you're asking me to identify what I am, if I say anything else, wouldn't that be dishonest? I mean, think about it. You could see me on the camera. You can clearly see me on the camera. And if I tell you otherwise than what you see, wouldn't that be me being dishonest? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, but when it came to me telling you, yes, I have children, and I said, yes, I take care of them, then my word is no longer valid? That you need a letter from the mom? So wait a minute, hold up. I gotta challenge you on that one. I gotta challenge you on that one. Case in point, if I say I have children, wouldn't you need proof that I actually have children though? Wouldn't you say, well, listen, you say you have children, but we don't know if it's true that you have children. So then that will lead me to the point where I have to get the birth certificate, right? With my name on it to show that I'm actually the father. I mean, wouldn't I need that document too? I'm just saying. Why do you need a letter from the mothers to show that I'm actually support my children? But you don't need a birth certificate to show that I'm actually a father in the first place? I could say, I could make that up too. But yeah, you're not asking for that. You're not asking for proof for that though. I'm just so frustrated with this system, man. This doesn't make no sense. Honestly, and yo, when I left the city after that, because I'm like, my head was hurting. I'm like, this doesn't make no sense. From the court for the ticket thing to the whole citizenship, I'm like, why does it have to be that difficult? Like, yo, since I've been in this country as a little kid, as a kid, what, about 6 years old, 6, 7 years old, something like that. I never even went back to Jamaica, so I don't even know what's going on over there. But he did say something about well, he asked me, have your parents been citizens before you're 18? I said, yes. Of course, they want proof from that. Of course. So he's like, well, this may be hard. And he literally told me this may be harder. I'm like, what the hell? How is that going to be even harder? He said, we're going to need some letters from your mother. Going to need to prove that you was living with her during the time when she got her citizenship. I'm like, whatever. And that was one scenario. Another scenario, he asked, have you ever been arrested? I told him, yes, I've been arrested about 3 times. And I told him the reasons. He was like, well, and I said, well, they've been dismissed or some things have been dropped or whatever the case was. And he said, well, we're going to need a disposition on that too. I'm like, my God, there are so many things in the system. You telling me you can't just look into the system? So I got to do all the footwork. I got to do all the footwork. I'm like, man, they just love to make things difficult. Oh, and one more thing, but this has nothing to do with hypocrisy, but it dampened my day. It was all in the same day too. I'm like, my God, yesterday was such a bad day. I'm like, can it get any worse? Oh my God. So anyway, because I want to travel, and I'm supposed to see my grandmother over the summer. So now, in the United States, we need to get our driver's license or ID with the real ID, either the real ID or I forgot the other one, the other thing called, but I was trying to get the real ID. So anyway, I've been I fill out a form on the DMV. They say, yeah, you're qualified to get the real ID because I have all my documents, right? So anyway, at that court place where I went to take care of the ticket situation, I asked one of the workers there. I was like, I said, listen, I went to a DMV earlier today. I didn't know that I had to make an appointment or whatever to get the real ID. But when I went on the line, everything was booked up from now until August. I couldn't get nowhere in Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, nothing was available. Everything was taken. So I'm like, I need to travel to be able to see my grandmother by the summertime, and everything is booked. So she said, I can probably help you. Do you have these IDs? So I said, yes, I do. So anyway, I gave her my social security and I gave her my green card. It's a very old green card where it doesn't have no expiration date, but I have worked on that earlier this month, and it's gonna take a while for me to last month, and it's gonna take a while for me to even get the new one with my updated picture. So anyway, she said, I don't know if they're gonna accept this because it looked like it was tampered with. It's an old green card and it's an old social security from when I came to this country. So it's just at the edges. It's like it's nothing that looked like it's have been butchered up or anything. You could clearly see the number. It's just at the edge where it looks a little worn. That's it. It just look a little worn. So she said, let me go ask my supervisor. So I was like, all right, bet, go ask your supervisor. She came back. She was like, oh, my supervisor said no because it looked like it was tampered. You would need to get a new one. I'm like, bullshit. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like, damn, this is one bad day. Oh my goodness. So I said, all right. I asked her for a Social Security Administration office if it's around the area. She was like, yeah, it's like about like a 20-minute walk. So I'm like, so she said you could do it online. So I went online. I booked an appointment or whatever. Boom, boom, boom. So I wish they could have done it on the weekend because I usually work during the weekday. So I guess I gotta take off like probably like a few hours from work just to get that done. Take some time off, but I'm telling you, like this country is just crazy, and I just don't know why they make certain things so difficult. It makes things so difficult. Like my face is on my ID. I know my name. I like. I mean, like, what y'all have computer systems for? Like, why would the thing classified as tampered when I'm right here in the flesh? I have my ID, I have my stuff right there, everything lined up. My I had my passport on me. I had my driver's license on me. I said, what about my TLC? That's basically brand new. I got my TLC license, but it's about to expire this year, but still it looking crisp condition. You know what I mean? I'm like, what else information you need? Like, you need a bill? Like, come on, like, golly, give a brother a break. Like, yo, I couldn't get no break. But through all this setbacks and issues, I just pray that there is definitely a silver lining. I really pray that there's a silver lining, that there's a blessing that's going to come out of it all. But I'm a very strong individual. I'm not going to get down and lay down. I have a fighting spirit. So, you know, everything happens for a reason, and there's always something to learn from it. There's always something to evaluate. You know what I mean? In life, there are going to always be certain uncertainties, and they're going to be unfairness. There will be unfairness. There will be things that does not work in your favor. But you got to have a fighting spirit. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep going. Do not let certain mishaps, certain setbacks to keep you down. So I'm going to encourage everyone who's listening to just keep striving, keep moving, no matter if a door closes in your face. Either keep knocking on that door, go to a different door, whatever the case may be. But you got to keep pushing. You got to keep moving. You got to be a survivor. You got to be a fighter. You got to have that fighting spirit in you. And I have that fighting spirit in me, even though things was very frustrating. I considered that day as a bad day, but at the end of the day, I still got life in me. I still got I still got strength in me. I still got determination. So I'm going to keep doing what I got to do, you know, to able to make a way not just for myself, but for my children as well, because they're very important to me. So I live for myself, yes, but I also live for them so they can have a better future as well. Because if I don't make a better future for myself, I can't do much for them. So I want to be able to pave that road, pave that path so that they may follow and see how I operate so they could have that same fighting spirit and believe that they too can have a better future regardless of whatever setbacks or people trying to just come between you and success. Sometimes you gotta knock people over, not physically, but in a sense where it's like you're not gonna take no for an answer. You're gonna be determined, have that determined spirit to just keep going, keep going, to not look back, to not be sidetracked, but to look forward on the prize and what you're trying to accomplish in life. So I implore everybody to just to have that determined mindset, laser focused mindset, just to focus on where you're going. And don't think about how long it will take or how many setbacks happen or how many mishaps happen. Sometimes you got to jump over it. Sometimes sometimes you feel like you're beaten down where you got even if you have to crawl, just keep going. Never stop. Never stop. Keep going. Have that determined spirit and trust and believe. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. You definitely you definitely will come out on top once you keep going. I'm telling you, sometimes it's cliche when people say, "Hey, don't give up." But that's a true statement. Don't give up. Don't give up no matter what. And sometimes you have to what sometimes there's certain people that may be in your life that may be holding you back. You got to distance yourself from certain individuals that's going to hold you back. I'm telling you. Some individuals they may speak certain things in your life or they may be a distraction in your life. So don't be distracted. Be focused. Keep going. Keep moving. Anyway, that's my message today. This is Pro-Verbs. Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe to this video if you haven't already. Please click that like button and click that bell for any notification if you want to see more videos like this. All right, Pro-Verbs, and I'm tuning out. Peace.